This is a real short video based on a poem that I wrote. I put it on Instagram today and somebody said it reminded them of Rumi. Now I have no idea about that, but I just wrote it and just, it's just another one of the thousands of poems that I have, but it spoke to me and I'll tell you why afterwards. Find me outside the village, sitting alone, gazing into the fire, or losing myself in the night sky. If you want to come and sit with me, you must be empty and have no questions, for I will have no answers but this silence. Well, it speaks to me in a number of ways. I like the idea of inclusivity, but not in some modern ideological way, but more in the outsider, the misfit, the ne'er-do-well, the one who always feels too sensitive, the one who feels they're somehow kind of shut out of the game, shut out of what everybody else is up to. And although a lot of that is an illusion, because in many ways when you probe deeper, there are those, they don't want to be part of that, whatever it is. But mostly it's just a kind of imagination or a feeling of internal discomfort, this sense that I don't quite belong. And there's a tribal quality to that, of somehow feeling alienated or not accepted, not able to really be who we are. And that somehow excludes us from the tribe. It can have a history to it, of course, of childhood playground stuff and family stuff, of course. It's like as soon as you've got two or more siblings, there's a competition almost, a hierarchy, a competition. There are favourites and there are outsiders, and this whole constellation kind of takes place. A Modema, who I live with, is an only child, and I have one brother, an older brother that I grew up with, and these only children have a very different experience. It's not necessarily better or worse, but they have a very different experience of this tribe thing, and it's amazing. There was that sort of thing even going on in a family of just two brothers, But as soon as you got 3 or 4 or 5, or then you have this kind of moving constellation of power and outsider and insider and stuff like that. Not everybody is the same. There's a lot of sensitivity, and I speak to the sensitives, really. I don't know why. It's not a mental thing. I don't want to particularly, but my heart goes out. My heart feels the outsiderness of things, and I've always known ever since I was in the in the tribal village kind of thing, where I was with Shivam O'Brien, this Celtic warrior back in England in the mid-90s, and it was palpable there, because there were the centre people, those who thought they were kind of important, if you like. And then there was another crowd. There was a sort of semi-outside crowd who were kind of hip and doing, hip's not the right word, really. But then there were the outsiders. The ones who maybe didn't show up to as many of the things as you saw them sitting alone sometimes. You know, that kind of alienated sort of misfit way of being in the world. I've got that all over me. I just, I don't know, I haven't kind of let it do anything. I don't care, because I realise that the outside of one circle may well be the inside of another circle. And what's so great about the circle anyway? Because quite frankly, the one who is silent, one who is quiet, the one who doesn't quite fit in, the one who is ultra sensitive, usually when when there's a turning away from just the neurotic kind of story of that, or the reinforcement of the story of that, there's actually something exquisitely beautiful in the sensitive. There's some wisdom lurking somewhere in the misfit. Yeah, there's something good, there's something new, there's something original, there's some spark, that longs to kind of come forth. Quite frankly, as far as I can see, most of the great artists in the world, the real ones, I'm not talking about pop artists, I'm talking about painters or great authors of our time, of the centuries. They're all misfits. They're all outsiders. They just channeled their alienation. They channeled their alienation into something because they had to, in order to cope with the incessant, alienation of things. So I speak to that. And, that's what I'm kind of interested in. You'll find me sitting alone outside the village, gazing into the fire, or losing myself in the night sky. Reverie. A beautiful reverie. Lost, yet somehow strangely found. You lose yourself in something. It's not really losing yourself. It's like losing the self, losing the ego self, losing the preoccupied, rationalizing self. That's what I mean by that, is losing the self. But actually, in losing yourself, of kind of becoming absorbed in the fire or the night sky or something, reverie-like than that, you do sort of find some deeper aspect, that isn't just of the small self, but is actually much greater, much bigger. And so if you want to come and sit with me, you must be empty and have no questions, for I will have no answers but this silence. Silence, my friend, says it all. At the end of the day, when we can just sit. It's said that when two mystics meet each other, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Alternatively, they may laugh or cry. But generally, there's silence, because there's silence within. If we can just get to silence within and dwell there more and more and more, it's so beautiful. There's something so beautiful about it, because it's a peaceful acceptance of everything as it is. Silence. Find me outside the village, sitting alone, gazing into the fire, or losing myself in the night sky. If you want to come and sit with me, you must be empty and have no questions, for I will have no answers but this silence. Bless you.